chamber opened. Her attendants rushed in, their voices raised in alarm. The guards at the main doors quickly followed. They staggered at a stop next to Rajkovic, their swords drawn. Confusion clouded their faces when they observed the women around the weeping Sultan. "What happened?" said the closest man, his fingers whitening on the handle of his blade. He glanced anxiously at the captain. "Prince Mustafa is dead," Rajkovic replied, his tone leaden. As the words fell from his numb lips, the reality of the statement overwhelmed him once more. His shoulders sagged. "Suleiman Sultan had him executed," the guard gasped. His companion swore under his breath. "The king killed his own son?" Rajkovic dipped his chin. As the wails of Mahidevran's attendants echoed around the royal chamber, the captain tore his gaze from the crying sultan. A slight motion drew his attention to the back of the room. A young woman he had never seen before stood at the door. Her arms were wrapped around her midsection, and she hunched over, as if she had received a blow to her body. His breath caught in his throat. Thick lashes fell to touch creamy, flawless skin hiding her eyes. Tears trembled on the curved, velvet black strands and dropped silently onto her pale cheeks. Her full crimson lips glistened in the gold light as she pressed them together. Despite the grief that shadowed the stranger's face, her beauty outshone even that of the emperor's concubine. Guilt and shame suddenly washed over the captain, drowning his dawning interest in the woman. He turned on his heels and exited the chamber. In the chaos that followed, Branimir Rajkovic strode along the flame-lit corridors and halls of the palace and headed out into the city. As news of the death of the heir to Suleiman the Magnificent spread around him, a smoldering anger replaced the crushing pain inside his heart. Cries of "The lawgiver has killed Mustafa, our prince is no more," soon reverberated across the narrow streets of Amasa. He stopped outside the forbidding gates of the Janissary barracks and stared at the moon rising over the valley, his hands fisting by his sides. He had dedicated his whole life in the service of the man who had been destined to become the next Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Not only had Mustafa been a valiant warrior and much-loved prince of Anatolia, he had also been the captain's closest friend since he joined the Janissary Corps 20 years earlier. He recalled the hours they had spent together, laughing and dreaming of the day they would rule the world and all the people within it. Although Mustafa spoke of such matters more in jest than in earnest, deep down, Rajkovic knew the prince was capable of achieving that vision and would be an even greater ruler than his father, Suleiman. The captain had wanted nothing more than to remain at Mustafa's side and help him realize that dream. Images of his best friend's final moments flashed in front of the captain's eyes once more. He took a deep, shuddering breath and headed inside the barracks. In the days that followed Prince Mustafa's wrongful execution, the rage simmering inside Rajkovic's veins grew stronger and was soon reflected by the civil unrest that broke out across Anatolia. News rapidly spread that Hurrem Sultan, Suleiman's wife, and her son-in-law, Rustam Pasha, had concocted a conspiracy to overthrow the rightful heir to the Ottoman throne. This caused further outrage from the Janissary Corps and Mustafa's soldiers, forcing Suleiman to remove Rustam from his position. 2 weeks after the death of the prince, Rajkovic awoke in the middle of the night to the sound of knocking on the door of his quarters. He almost dropped the candle holder in his hand when he opened it and saw the two figures standing on the threshold. Mahidevran Sultan observed him solemnly from beneath the hood of her cloak, her face ghostly pale in the flickering light of the flame. Standing behind her was the hauntingly beautiful young woman Rajkovic had first seen on that fateful day when he visited the palace to deliver the gruesome news of Prince Mustafa's death to the Sultan. "May we come in?" said Mahidevran softly. Part 1. Resonance. Chapter 1. July, 1706. London.